Hola amigos de Te Agro, mi nombre es Santiago Méndez.
Hello friends of TB Agro, my name is Santiago Mendez and today we are going to talk to you about the blueberry harvest. We are located today in the municipality of Rosal, Cundinamarca, approximately 40 minutes from Bogota, at an altitude of approximately 2,800 meters above sea level.
Con muchísimas variedades.
The blueberry can be known with many varieties. Among the most famous in Colombia can be Legacy, Misty, Star Blue, Biloxi.
La fruta Biloxi.
This crop handles what is Biloxi, the Biloxi fruit. It is not a fruit, let's say, that grows much in caliber. They are not fat, large seeds as you can see now with others, such as Legacy, but it is a fruit that is recognized worldwide for its flavor. It is one of those that has the taste, perhaps not the sweetest, but it is one of the sweetest flavors and the most desired in the market. Apart from that, the fruit is, as you could explain, there are some fruits that are pulling a little sandy side. And the others are pulling the softer watery side. The Biloxi is a little more to the soft watery.
Hablando ahora acerca de la fruta.
Talking now about the fruit, we are looking for a Biloxi. It is also quite characterized by the bloom. What is the bloom?
¿El bloom qué es?
If you can see this fruit, even though it is not yet ripe, as you can see, it is still a little red, pink and even green below. It is not ready for harvest.
Sin embargo, se puede notar lo que es el bloom.
However, you can notice what is the bloom. The bloom is this white powder, that you can see that what covers the fruit.
Básicamente silicio.
This bloom is basically silicon, and what it does, is that it provides defense to the fruit. A good quality blueberry can be seen with the amount of bloom it has.
Se puede decir que es
A fruit that has high bloom, you can say that it is fully nourished, and last long on the shelf. The fruits that we can find in supermarkets that are no longer whitish but are so bright,
así brillantes que se ve el azul puro o el morado puro.
You see the pure blue or pure purple, is a fruit that either has been washed in their post-harvest,
O no genera buen bloom en su producción.
or, no, does not generate good bloom in its production. I personally do not recommend washing blueberries, of course depending on the same production system, a conventional production system, to use so many chemicals.
Pues, sí es recomendable lavar todas las frutas.
If it is advisable to wash all fruits, but in this case, as it is an organic crop, 100% of the applications that are generated are totally harmless to humans. In any case, it is prevented not to harvest or apply in close dates.
Por lo tanto, en este caso, en este cultivo, no lavamos la fruta.
So in this case, in this crop, in this case, we do not wash the fruit, since it comes completely natural to the customer.
Bueno, si seguimos hablando acerca de su maduración.
Continuing, if we continue talking about if ripening, the blueberry begins with the flower, then begins its thickening, which are the green seeds that we see.
Sigue su proceso.
It follows its common and ordinary process like any other fruit, until having the ripe fruit.
Aquí ya se cosechó. Aquí está nuestra.
Here it is already harvested. Here is our colleague Sonia harvesting the fruit. As we can see, this is a fruit that is already ripe, is completely blue,
Tanto por arriba como por abajo.
both above and below, and has a good quality of bloom. As I mentioned, the Biloxi is not characterized by being a very large, or more or less medium-sized seeds, but nevertheless can reach a good caliber.
Aquí vemos otra con más o menos otro mejor calibre.
Here we see another more or less better one, explaining how we harvest the blueberry in this farm. As we can see, she has 4 jars around her waist.
Dentro de esos tarros,
Inside those jars, in the same harvest, we do the classification.
puede que nos demoremos un poquito más estando en campo.
We may take a little longer, being in the field, but as I said, the ideal is that the blueberry is not washed so much. The more the blueberry is handled, the more the bloom will be lost. So if I harvest everything here, I am touching it once, then I go to the post-harvest and I start to separate it, I am touching it again, and then when I go back to pack the packages, I am touching it a third time. So here to reduce the same process, so here, to reduce the process of touching the fruit so much, we classify it once at the moment of harvesting. She has a jar there for the damaged fruit,
Tanto por hongos,
either because of fungus, because it didn't grow enough and dried out. Or sometimes the birds just come and bite it and make it unusable for the client.
Otros dos tarros son para la fruta.
2 other jars are for medium and large. Fruit in a small jar, sorry, the 4th jar is for small fruit,
Que en este caso no se utiliza para supermercados o
which in this case is not used for supermarkets or direct customers, but is used by what is known as the industry, i.e. for bakeries to make muffins with blueberries, milk companies to make yogurts with blueberries.
arándanos, en fin.
In short, for bakeries to make muffins with blueberries, milk companies to make yogurts with blueberries, in short. That is the initial classification that we give here to the blueberries, these little boxes that we have here. When they are very high or very close harvests, the blueberries are kept in these, while the harvesters finish harvesting a lot or the necessary lots. Why? So as not to waste time going up to the post-harvest plant, since these 4 containers can be filled quickly in high harvest seasons.
Entonces se utilizan estos.
Then these kiosks are used, so to speak, where the temperature is relatively lower, they are in the shade and the blueberry can hold its time more, and while later it is taken in the harvest baskets, to the post-harvest.
Bueno, explicarles un poquito antes.
Well, explain a little bit. Blueberries are mostly planted in the southern and northern hemispheres, mainly in Chile in the United States. These countries, as we know, have seasons:
Primavera, verano.
spring, summer, autumn, winter.
En estos países, estas frutas,
In these countries these fruits, in what is winter and autumn,
ellas se defolian, pierden todas sus hojas.
it is seen foliage lose all their leaves and return and produce in spring and summer.
Ellas necesitan este frío para...
They need this cold to stimulate and throw the flower, and then throw the fruit.
¿Qué pasa? Aquí en Colombia,
What happens? Here in Colombia, as we do not have seasons but we have latitudes, where we provide that same cold and then give us the heat so that they can reproduce.
entonces, ¿qué sucede?
Then what happens? That advantage we have here, where for example in one day can dawn at 5 or 6 degrees of cold.
De frío, inclusive en temporada de heladas,
Even in frost season can dawn at -10 degrees, and that same day, as today, can make only is quite strong. That make temperatures rise to 25, even sometimes 30 degrees. What causes this?
las frutas se cristalicen y se...
The sugars in the fruits crystallize, in simple terms.
y hacen que las frutas sean muchísimo más dulces.
Some people say that the Colombian blueberry may become the tastiest in the world,
Hacer el más sabroso del mundo.
because of these same advantages,
O pues no el de Colombia, sino en los cultivos.
or not the Colombian blueberry, but in countries that are in the tropics and have the same advantage as us. Besides that, we can also harvest 52 weeks of the year. We do not have seasons.
Lo podemos hacer con podas.
We can do it with pruning, but in the country,
Cultivos se...
we produce the crops 52 weeks of the year, the vast majority.
Continuando, nos encontramos ahora
Continuing, we are now in the storage or post-harvest area. After removing the baskets, as I mentioned from our black kiosks, we bring all the fruit to this post-harvest container.
aquí, antes que nada,
Here, first of all our harvesters must comply with certain protocols to be able, not only to enter here, but before they can harvest,
deben venir en la mañana. Lógicamente se espera que vengan bañados.
they must come in the morning. Logically, they are expected to come bathed, wash their hands, and also to comply with certain equipment, which are, they are not allowed to bring rings or accessories on their hands, or that could fall into the product,
En ciertos casos a los hombres no se les permite.
such as earrings, and in some cases men are not allowed to have beards if they are going to participate for a long time in the post-harvest period.
En nuestra post cosecha, para darles una pequeña demostración,
Now, in our post-harvest, to give you a little demonstration, all the fruit is brought in the baskets, they are placed on the reception tables, they go through the selection, and here they end up in the packing process.
como les comentaba, nuestra fruta ya viene seleccionada.
As I said, our fruit is already selected. Today there is no reception, because there is no harvest as such. However, on harvest days, all this is full of baskets. We go to the final part, we take a look at the fruit, but we do not try to touch the fruit, as I have repeated so much.
Se pesa la fruta y se empaca en los respectivos empaques.
And finally, the fruit is weighed and packed in the respective packaging. There are plastic packaging of different sizes, and additionally, we have biodegradable packaging for other types of customers, as we see here.
Una vez listo el empacado,
Once the packaging is ready, in the case of plastic packaging, we proceed with the labeling.
el etiquetado
Labeling also varies depending on the customer. Some customers require the fruit without label. Other customers require the fruit-inclusive bulk and do not have to pack it, they are provided in the baskets, and other customers even want to specify the lot.
o sellos en el mismo empaque. Posterior a esto, dependiendo del cliente,
After this, depending on the client, it goes to a storage area.
dado que en este cultivo no se manejan altas cantidades,
Since in this crop we do not handle high quantities of harvest or weight of fruit, this warehouse has not been used enough, since there are very few customers who ask us for fruit and it has to be packed.
empacar. Negando esto,
So if the fruit is sent instantly, it proceeds directly to the exit, and out there is the truck to proceed to the packaging.
y allá afuera está esperando el tipo de, el camión para proceder
To the transport, sorry.
al transportado, perdón. Es importante mencionar
It is important to mention that in this crop we do not make a refrigerated system, as I said we do not use storage,
el almacenamiento porque nuestros clientes no nos lo exigen.
because our customers do not require us, or all delivered the same day. We do not practice the cold chain. Why do not we practice it?
Si practicáramos la cadena de frío,
If we practice the cold chain, the fruits would have to be kept 100% of their life, after being harvested in cold chain, that is, if they are really cold here, at the time of transporting them they have to go in a refrigerated truck, and when they arrive at your supermarket they have to be in refrigerated shelves. If they do not comply with this, that is, if they are not refrigerated, the fruit will be damaged during transport,
y durar muchísimo menos en la vida de anaquel.
and will last much less time on the shelf life, so it is recommended, depending on the client's transport time, not to refrigerate the fruit only when it reaches the destination, being a supermarket for example, when it reaches the destination there to be preserved.
Bueno amigos de Teagro,
Well, friends of TV Agro, that's all for today. Thank you very much for listening to us, and don't forget we are Corimbo, in case you want blueberries. Thank you very much.